Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, so happy Monday. I think I want to take a new approach to my videos here because making a YouTube video can be quite time consuming. And that is just turn on the camera and go with it at whatever the moment is. So if there's an airplane going overhead or neighbors slamming their door when they leave, I'll just include in the video. Adds character to the video. Adds a little flavor. So here I am again with my corncob pipe, enjoying some Sir Walter Raleigh this time around. And I'm going to make another pot of coffee here soon. Right now I'm drinking some hot water. Though it's getting cold on me quick. I didn't do it on the pot or anything like that. So I just heat it up on the coffee pot. Well, let's get to the topic of the day. If I say on the pot, somebody... My mind, I guess, is in the gutter today, folks. Okay, can we just start the video from the beginning? No, I got this idea last night after watching Shango066 channel to just go with it. I think when you're doing these YouTube videos, sometimes you take yourself a little too seriously. You want it to sound right. You're very... It's the funniest thing. You know, you're really self-conscious when you do these videos. I mean, I'm so self-conscious, I don't even know what I'm going to say to you in this video. I just turn on the camera and go with whatever the story is and kind of ad-lib a little bit. Is it ad-lib or ab-lib? Never got that right. I think it's ad-lib. Some people say ab-lib. So I'm going to ad-lib you. Starting to sound like one of the characters off of Phil Hendry's sketch. But a shout out to Shango066 channel, because he did a couple of videos last night where he was fixing these lawnmowers. And I love watching his channel because when he fixes a radio, an old radio or old TV, or even a lawnmower, he had this lawnmower from the 1950s he was trying to fix. You wouldn't think he'd get this thing running, but somehow he managed to get this thing up and running again. It'd been tossed out in somebody's garage for years. And then, well, the story was they were cleaning out this residence. And where he lives, apparently these houses were built back like in the 1920s, 1930s. And so somebody had this lawnmower for decades, and they, I guess, sold the house or whatever and had to clear it out. And they had to clear out the garage, and they just put the lawnmower out by the dumpster, and that was that. But it's really fascinating to watch these videos because you start getting into this world of electronics, these old machines, and it's a world within a world is the best way I can describe it. It really is. There's a history behind it. Each piece of equipment that was manufactured, each radio, each television set, just like any piece of music that's written, there's always a history behind it and so much that goes into it. And once you get into it, it's like looking at an entirely different world. Just another dimension. It's hard to describe in words. And I'm sure you've had that experience if you've ever worked on some type of project, whether it's a piece of music. And I'm trying to get back into writing my music, which leads me to today's topic of a little covered story. It's at foxnews.com. Now trying to use Fox News as the fail-safe. Let me light my pipe again. I got to get some more coffee going here in a minute. And I tell you guys, you got to go and check out Walmart. I mean, I went on another Walmart run this weekend, and I'm not trying to, let me just say from the outset here, I am not a spokesperson for Walmart, but when you're on a budget, okay, and times are tough, you either go to Walmart or go to Family Dollar or the dollar store. But Walmart has got it going on, man, in the bakery aisle, in the deli aisle. I picked up their, what was it, the Rojo's 5-layer bean dip. Just good stuff. I mean, I got my fridge full and my cupboard's full. Thank God, and especially towards this latter end of winter, which has been kind of tough. If I can just talk to you for a moment before we get into this. I haven't had a chance to do a video because my schedule's been changed a little bit at work, and it kind of threw me off, and we had some things happen here, and, you know, the weather's been kind of weird. Usually this time of year it starts warming up. Well, we still got snow on the ground that hasn't melted yet, and usually in March, when the snow falls here, it melts pretty quickly. That's not the case because this week it's going to be in the 20s. So we're having kind of a late winter, still waiting for spring to start. But when times are tough, as I was saying, you got to go to Walmart. You got to do what you got to do, or go to Family Dollar or Dollar Tree, to save a few bucks. Trim the fat, so to speak. But if I can just talk to you for a moment, I just want to be more kind of open with my audience and have a little more fun. Maybe I take myself too seriously in these videos, and I shouldn't. That's something I forget about writing my music and about doing the series. At the root of this is fun. I was at work, and I'm just getting tired of this, and I'm just going to vent here for a moment. Let me just vent, because I got to get this off my chest. I got to share with you. And I talked with my fellow coworker about this, because I felt like I was the only one. It turns out that he's also getting it from all sides here at work. Now, I've got nothing against my general manager, and I understand they have a business to run, and we have a certain rapport with the community. As a business, we want to be professional, but damn it, you got to stop micromanaging how people run their shift. Here's a news flash for you, Mr. or Mrs. General Manager. I'm not going to say whether it's a male or female that I work with, to protect the guilty here. But damn it, stop trying to micromanage people's shifts and realize that I will sit, stand, eat wherever I want, whenever I want, within reason, of course. Not eat out in front of the customers, that sort of thing, the type of business that I do. But you shouldn't be jumping down my throat here at 11 o'clock at night when I come in to do the overnight shift, and that's the time when I need to eat because of all this extra crap you're giving us to do on the overnight shifts, because you got 20 people during the day working at the hotel, and what are they all doing? Seriously, what are they all doing? You got 20 people working there during the day, and nobody knows how to fill the ice or the soda machines? This is what I'm going through. The stupidity of some of these people. And I think they have it set in their mindset here. Now, I'm going to get to the story here, and just like I said, just indulge me for a moment, folks. I haven't talked to my audience in a while. It's been a week or so since I've done a video, and I just want to kind of throw it out there today and vent for a moment and get into the story about Hollywood. This is not being covered, the story about Hollywood, which is disassociating itself with Russia, form of sanctions, barring concerts, movie festivals, and more. There's some stories out there about some major conductors that have been fired, or opera singers that have basically stepped down from their position, or what have you. So that's going on, and we're talking about prestigious organizations. We're talking about places like the Bolshoi and the Toulouse Orchestra in France. Valery Gagarev, however you say his last name, he was fired. So he got his ass canned. So when this is happening in the performing arts community, and this article talks about that as well, and then it also talks about these rock and roll stars or these pop stars that are not going to be doing these concerts in Russia, it's pretty bad. Well, you've got Russia invading the Ukraine. And I got to give a shout out again. While I'm thinking about it, like I said, I'm throwing all this out there in one video today, so just bear with me. Like I said, we'll get to the main topic here. But I have to give a shout out again to Brian McClanahan in his channel, because he did a great video this morning. And lo and behold, I have been saying this all along on the series. Pardon me, talking about this equivalent of the Confederacy to Nazi Germany. The Confederate flag equivalent to the Nazi flag. And Richard Weaver went on Twitter to say, no, that's not the case. And he mimicked or said the exact same thing that I have been saying all this time, which is the vast majority of people who were killed during World War II under the Third Reich were actually Central or Eastern European, white Central or Eastern Europeans. So it was the Jews, it was ethnic Polish, it was the Slavic, it was, you have Romanian gypsies in that as well, some minority groups, Jehovah's Witnesses, he killed the handicapped, fellow Germans, you name it. Anybody who was against Hitler, he went after him because he was a dictator. And Richard Weaver also pointed out that Hitler aligned himself with the Japanese and with the Indians at the time, or the Hindus, I believe it was at the time. So it's everything that I've been saying on this channel. I feel vindicated for that. So those of you with a Confederate battle flag, you should not feel guilty for waving that thing around. And I'm going to go as far as say this. If you have a Nazi flag, you shouldn't feel, if you want to wave the Nazi flag, go for it, because this channel is all about fighting against censorship. As I've said before, all these symbols should stay up, because then we can have this debate and we can remember what happened in history and we can learn from history. But if you want to fly the Confederate battle flag, damn it, you should be able to do that. If you want to fly the Nazi flag, then go for it if that's what suits your fancy. Not my cup of tea. Not that I may agree with it, which I don't. But that also is part of the story. We have to be careful that if we're disassociating ourselves with, or as Hollywood is doing here, with these different Russian businesses, or having concerts in cities like Moscow or St. Petersburg, not St. Petersburg, Florida, which, by the way, was named after St. Petersburg, Russia, on a coin toss. Did I say coin toss? On a coin toss. On a coin toss, believe it or not. I believe his name was Peter Demons was the last name. D-E-M-I-E-M-S? D-E-M-S? I can't remember my spelling this morning, okay? Like I said, it's been a week since I've done a video. Just bear with me. But the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, was named on a coin toss. The other name was Detroit. So we could have had St. Petersburg, Michigan, and we could have had Detroit, Florida. Would that have been something? The auto industry would have moved south. Maybe that would have been a good thing. I don't know. So at any rate, as I was saying, coming full circle here, we've got to be careful not to go into this area of censorship. And as Brian McClanahan was talking about on his channel today, the Confederacy was not equivalent in any way to Nazi Germany. I mean, what was going on with by the way, what was going on with Nazi Germany is exactly what was what is happening now. It happened with Stalin, but it's what's happening now with Putin and the Ukraine, Russia and the Ukraine. And guess what? The people who are being affected by this in Ukraine are white. The vast, vast majority of them, all I'm seeing on TV, are white Ukrainians. You might have some minority groups somewhere in the mix. So before I get too far afield here and go too long in the video, because I'm almost 13 minutes in the video, I haven't gotten to the article here. But I do appreciate you allowing me to indulge this morning and just kind of throw it out there and give a shout out to people like Shango066 and Brian McClanahan. All these people who bring you these videos on YouTube, please support them. You may not always agree with their viewpoint, but support them because they're bringing you this content. It's important. And if you like this video, click that like button, subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram at hashtag Jason Composes. Leave comments below. Now you can reach me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. Let me go ahead and light my pipe real quick, and then we'll get into the article. Hollywood hits Russia with its own form of sanctions, barring concerts, movie festivals, and more. This is by Melissa Roberto. Now, this is a story that came out about 3 or 4 days ago. And I've been sitting on this, didn't know when I was going to be able to do a video about it, but it's not being covered, and it needs to be covered. So it says here, let me light my pipe here real quick. Oh, yeah. Ah. Mm-hmm. When you let that Sir Walter Riley stove, as they call it in the pipe smoking world, which is where you smoke a little bit and then take your pipe down and then let it cool, and it creates kind of like a brick in the pipe, light it up again. It's one of the best smokes you'll ever have. And a shout out again to the pipe smoking community here on YouTube. Well, I've got a lot of ground to cover today, don't I? I just can't keep up with it all. So if you liked the video, if I didn't say it, click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at hashtag Jason Composes, leave comments below. Now you can reach me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. So it says here, and this again is an article by Melissa Roberto about Hollywood disassociating itself with Russia. And don't forget that the Oscars are going to be on the 27th of this month, March 27th. Seems like they're doing it really late this year. While leaders around the world, including President Biden, have announced sanctions on Russia over its multi-front war on the Ukraine, Major players in Hollywood are taking swift action of their own to condemn President Vladimir Putin's actions, rightfully so. Over the last week, musicians, festival organizers, and industry leaders have announced their decisions to postpone events in Russia, severely limiting entertainment offerings in the country. Musicians press pause. The band Imagine Dragons was scheduled to perform in Russia and Ukraine this coming June, but revealed over the weekend its decision to halt the shows. Quote, in light of recent events, we're Okay, I should just start the video over now. In light of recent events, I'm reading this to you cold, we're sad to announce our Russia and Ukraine shows are canceled until further notice. Our thoughts are with Ukraine and all those suffering from this needless war. A statement on the band's social media account reads. Green Day posted a similar statement on its Instagram story earlier this week. Green Day is still rocking it? With heavy hearts in light of current events, we feel it is necessary to cancel our upcoming show in Moscow at Spartak Stadium, Green Day wrote. We are aware that this moment is not about stadium rock shows. It's much bigger than that. But we also know that rock and roll is forever, and we feel confident there will be a time and place for us to return in the future, the band continued. Refunds available at the point of purchase. Stay safe. I don't know if rock and roll is forever, but I'm just joking. So somebody wrote on Twitter, this is from AJR Brothers. We're at AJR Brothers. We are sad to announce that we will be canceling our upcoming show in Russia. Thank you to our Russian fans who oppose their country's unprovoked and criminal behavior. Our hearts are with the people of Ukraine. At this point, the best thing you can do is share accurate info. Is it Louis or Louis Tomlinson took to Twitter on Monday to share that tour stops in Moscow and Kiev have been postponed due to the recent events in the Ukraine. Let me start over. Due to the recent events in the Ukraine, I need to slow down here, I have to sadly announce that my tour is in Moscow and Kiev are canceled until further notice. The safety of my fans is my priority, and my thoughts go out to the people of the Ukraine and all those suffering from this needless war, the former One Direction performer said. People actually listen to One Direction. Similarly, indie pop trio AJR said it was sad to announce its upcoming show in Russia has been canceled and hit at Russia's criminal behavior. That's the tweet I just shared with you. I should have been better prepared for the video, right? I'm trying to do these kind of more on the fly and be more authentic, so if I screw up, I screw up. Eric Clapton's show in St. Petersburg and Moscow have also been have been canceled and will not be rescheduled, a rep for the musician told Fox News Digital. And this is at Twitter again, says here it's at Health. Though we do not wish to penalize our fans for governmental decisions that are beyond their control, given the current state of affairs, we will no longer be performing our previously scheduled shows in St. Petersburg and Moscow. Our thoughts go out to the people of the Ukraine. Health, the rock band, also informed fans about its decision to no longer perform at 2 scheduled appearances in Russia. Quote, though we do not wish to penalize our fans for government decisions, as I just shared with you on Twitter, English musician Youngblood announced that he was heartbroken to cancel his Russian shows scheduled for this summer. Heartbroken because I know the vicious and brutal acts of the Russian regime in Ukraine over the past week do not reflect the attitudes and ideals of the beautiful people I have met in Russia in the past, during his past tours there. And that's the sad thing about this. The Russian people are really good people. And it's a shame that they have a government that's not looking after its people and that's just going out there, Putin's going out there and just invading countries, not taking into account the effect it's going to have on his people, just like Hitler did with the Third Reich. They thought they were going to invade Czechoslovakia or go into Poland and all these other countries, and it just turned out to be a train wreck. Movie releases and festivals canceled. The cultural backlash against Russia's invasion of the Ukraine intensified Tuesday as France's Cannes Film Festival, or is it Cannes? The Cannes Film Festival, said no Russian delegations would be welcome this year. The Venice Film Festival, meanwhile, said it was organizing free screenings of the film Reflection about the conflict in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region as a sign of solidarity with the people of the Ukraine. The screenings are scheduled for next week in Rome, Milan, and Venice. The announcements by Europe's two premier film festivals came on the heels of other high-profile protests in the arts, including Hollywood's decision to pull films scheduled for release in Russia, and the Munich, this is important, folks, the Munich Philharmonic's decision to fire chief conductor Valery Gergiev. That is a big deal. The Munich Philharmonic, very prestigious orchestra, just like the Toulouse. A lot of these orchestras have been around a long time. By the way, the Paris Conservatory Orchestra was established to promote the music of Beethoven, and they were the only orchestra after World War II to survive the aftermath, and made several recordings. So they were a very healthy orchestra at a unstable time in Europe after or shortly after World War II. The orchestra, joined by other orchestras and festivals linked to Gergiev, cited support for Russian President Vladimir Putin, and his refusal to reject the invasion is the reason why he was fired. Or as Dave Hurwitz says, David Hurwitz says on his channel, they canned his ass. The first time I heard that, when I saw that video, I practically spit my coffee out. I thought the way he said it was so funny. Cannes, which is scheduled for May, is the most global of film festivals, and its international village of flag-waving pavilions annually hosts more than 80 countries from around the world. In a statement, festival organizers, festival organizers said the ban on any official Russian delegation or individuals linked to the Kremlin would remain, quote, unless the war of assault ends in conditions that will satisfy the Ukrainian people. And it goes on to say here, after Disney, Warner Brothers, and Sony announced they would halt distributing films in Russia, including Warner's highly anticipated The Batman, oh my God, the Paramount Pictures announced likewise Tuesday. Now I gotta say something about this. Could we stop making all these superhero films? Please? I've had enough of it. I mean, how many Batman sequels do you need? Paramount Pictures announced likewise Tuesday. That includes upcoming releases like Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Oh, that's going to be a big loss. And The Lost City. Last week, the European Broadcasting Union announced Russia would not be allowed to enter an act for this year's Eurovision Song Contest to be held in Tehran in May. So this is a story again. Don't want to get too long in the video here. Wow, we're getting almost to 23 minutes here. But this is a story at foxnews.com. It's not being talked about very much. A lot of the businesses are in the news that are cutting ties with Russia, some banks and that sort of thing. But this is at foxnews.com. Hollywood hits Russia with its own form of sanctions, barring concerts, movies, festivals, and more. By Melissa Roberto came out about 3 or 4. Why do I want to say that phrase today? Came out about 3 or 4 days ago. And we got to be careful here, not to get to the point where we're so anti-Russian that we censor, these great pieces of music or art that came out of some bad times, especially in the early part of the 20th century, and there were rough times in the 1800s, a lot of 1800s in Russia, a lot of political instability after the 1848 revolution. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for letting me rant and just kind of go with it today, just be myself. I feel better now. I got a lot off my chest, and I love you guys as my audience, and it's been a real treat to do these videos for you, and I apologize I haven't posted anything in the past week, so thank you for being with me. Like the video, click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram, and hashtag Jason Composes. Leave comments below. Now you can reach me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out, stay safe, have a great week, everybody. God bless this great country, all that fun jazz. And hopefully your video, if you're out there or here on YouTube, is better or a little bit better than mine. So I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.